And welcome back, Worldwide Wolves, coming to you 5 p.m. Saturday, February 14th. We are missing the 3-point contest in order to get this recording out for you guys. It's real dedication. And Jake, do you have it on another screen? Are you going to be able to focus during this recording today, my friend?
It's All-Star weekend. It's the biggest time of the NBA season, isn't it?
It is.
We're all tuning in to see whatever this is.
We
All-Star
spent
game 1, All-Star game 2, All-Star game 3, All-Star game championship.
we spent about 8 minutes before I hit record really just ranting about the All-Star game, so we'll try not to keep doing that on here, but it is a little fun. They got Bobby Portis in the 3-point contest right now, and they got,
Yeah.
what was the guy's name we didn't know in the dunk contest? Maybe
Keyshawn Johnson, put some
Keshad
respect.
Johnson. Yeah,
Put some
comment if you've
respect on
ever heard
Keyshawn's
of
name.
Keshad Johnson before. We'd love to know if anyone ever has. Anyways, what we're gonna do today is actually not talk at all about the All-Star game or its festivities besides that. But we're going to kind of take this All-Star break opportunity to do something we did before the season and just kind of build out what we think a good rotation or good playoff rotation might look like for this team using a very roughly put together spreadsheet that I have that's fun to, go over. So, should be interesting to go over this rotation, but Jake, at the All-Star break, the Timberwolves right now are sitting at 34 and 32, sixth in the Western Conference, seventh in net rating, fifth in offensive rating, and seventh in defensive rating. Any of those numbers real shocking to you at this point of the season?
Um, I don't know. I think it's weird because they have such extremes. Like they can look like the best offense in the league on any given night. They can look like the best defense on the league on any given night, and they can also look like the worst. So I think maybe that it balances out to be so high, kind of especially offensively, which I just always feel like this offense is a few missed shots away from kind of devolving into the worst looking offense you've ever seen. But the fact that they are consistently good, the stats bear out that they're pretty consistently, or maybe that their highs are so high that their average is pretty good. So, but yeah, they're a good team. Like I don't think anyone can deny that they're a good team. It's just more that maybe we grade them on a different scale than we're used to in terms of kind of we want them to be a championship team, so we can be a bit disappointed by them at times. But when you look at those numbers from 10,000 feet away, they do seem like a really good team, like top 10 on both sides of the ball, very capable of beating any team, very capable of losing to any team. And that's kind of the roller coaster we've been on this season.
Sorry. Yeah. I just clicked the wrong button. But no, yeah, especially with just this last stretch before the All-Star break, which weirdly enough, I think they finished 7-3 over their last 10, which is really good, but there were a few games where it felt like they were, 1-10 or 3-10. But no, it's just they have these very specifically bad games, which I guess I do wonder, are there more teams around the league that just choke like this as often as it seems the Wolves do? Like, do the Knicks or do the not the Thunder, because they're just really good for the most part, but like do the Nuggets and the Rockets just falter against the
Yeah.
Pelicans? Like we just center in so much specifically on this team, of course. But I think when you do zoom out just of the, say, Pelicans game and just take it all in and go, all right, on a broad scale, they're pretty good. On a broad scale, they perform better when they're playing good teams. And when it comes down to it, they're going to be playing good teams. But at the end of the day, all of these games are going to matter. The Wolves are sitting, as I mentioned, in sixth, and wins against the Pelicans would certainly help to vault them up a little bit higher. If you can't tell, I'm still salty about the Pelicans game. But, as we head down the stretch here and we go, all right, the Wolves are trying not to play, hopefully, the Nuggets or the Thunder or the Spurs in the first round. Obviously, you don't want to be in the sixth position. So when playoff time comes, I think this team will be a playoff rising team overall, but you want to have a better first round matchup. I mean, you want to just have momentum going into the playoffs and through the first round. So we'll see. I like where they're at overall, but yeah, I'd say let's build out a rotation and we'll see what we can just kind of talk about all the players individually as we
Yeah,
go
it's
through
a
them.
good excuse to kind of take stock on the individuals so far this season. We know that we talk about the team in general all the time. That yeah, they are up and down. They can lose to anyone, beat anyone. But it's nice to kind of go through the roster, especially now that the trade deadline is been and gone, and we can kind of build out, because really this is just the on ramp to the playoffs, isn't it? These last 20 something games
Yeah.
is just kind of what we're looking for, to see how much momentum they can build, to see if they can tinker with these rotations, to see if they can really find an 8 or 9 man rotation that makes sense in the playoffs. So yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of talking through that.
Yeah, and on the screen here for YouTube audience, audio audience, we'll still talk through this for you, but also you could just go to YouTube. But whatever, it is what it is.
And it's
Just
not
we
overly
love you
complicated.
all.
It's literally
It's
just
very simple. Yeah,
every player's name with their minutes next to it. So it's pretty easy
it's
to.
hey, it's more complicated and hardworking than that. It took a lot of time. No,
There's a lot of color coordination on this Excel sheet.
exactly right. Thank you. So just this first part we're gonna look at is the current minutes of like what this Wolves rotation looks like now. It says mock 10 man, and I only have 9, but that's just because I took the players that would equal 240 minutes, which is, of course, the amount of minutes in a basketball game spread out among all the players and all that. Anyways, this is the current minutes. Donte 31 minutes, Ant 36, Jaden 32, Julius 34, Rudy 31, Naz 26, Ayo actually at 28. Intrigued to see how we kind of put him as we go down there. Bones at 15, and then Johan Berenjay at 7. So I think we do this just based on like what we would want to build out as a playoff rotation, and we'll kind of put that together here. I put Jalen Clark, Terrence Shannon, Mike Conley, and Johan Berenjay on the side in case we want to throw any of these guys in here. But yeah, I say we just start right at the top and get into Donte DiVincenzo and how many minutes we might want to see him playing come playoff time. So, as I mentioned, right now he's getting 31. Come playoff time, Jake, you think 31 is a good number for Donte DiVincenzo?
Yeah, DiVincenzo might be the most interesting almost at the moment, just because Dosunmu's there now. They kind of play a similar role. I think they can obviously play together as well at times, but he seems to be the logical choice to take any minutes from the starters. Like I think, we'll get to Dosunmu, but he's obviously going to take minutes from Conley, from Jalen Clark. Like those guys, you can see him eating up those minutes pretty easily. But then if you want him to get more minutes, then it's going to come from DiVincenzo. And I do think both of those guys are playoff players. I know DiVincenzo was really bad in the playoffs last season, but he's also been really good in playoff series with the Knicks. So I think maybe a little less than 31. Like now that you have a guy who you probably want to get minutes as well in that same role, but not a huge amount. And I'm happy with him starting. I think that they'll keep this starting lineup throughout the rest of the regular season and the playoffs. Maybe, I don't know, I think like 28 maybe.
Yeah, I like that. And this is one of the guys where I think it'll be different with the rest of the starters, but with Donte specifically, it could fluctuate to where he might play 22 minutes one night and then 33 minutes the next and then 25. You get it? Just based on performance, based on how Ayo's doing, based on how Bones has been performing. And yeah, it'll fluctuate quite a bit, but just for an average, you said 28?
Yeah. And I think that's
good.
I think that's a really good thing about not only the Ayo acquisition, but Bones as well, kind of becoming very playable, more than playable, but also sometimes just straight up very helpful, is that you can limit the DiVincenzo minutes on nights where he doesn't have it. Where I felt like that was a problem throughout this season, that DiVincenzo, I think, is a very helpful player. Like, we both like him as a player. But when he doesn't have it, there are nights where it really felt painful. The Denver game on Christmas is one that I remember where he just could not make a shot all night, and he still had to play 34 minutes or something. Like, I think it's helpful to have at least I don't want those guys to take his minutes, but I think on the nights where he doesn't have it, you at least have different options now, and different options that do different things in Ayo and Bones. So I think, like you said, it's not going to be 28 minutes flat every night. I think it will be 34 when he's got it, 23 when he doesn't, and it'll average out to 28, and that's helpful.
Yeah, I'd be intrigued to see what his role looked like, say, if the Wolves got a more traditional point guard, but as of right now, they don't. So they're rolling with him in this spot, which, as you mentioned, I think I'm very fine with right now. Anthony Edwards is effectively the point guard, and just having Dante's shooting ability around him has proven to be quite valuable. And I know Donte defensively can be really ugly, but he also can be just an energy type of guy, a guy that can make a play on that end.
Yeah.
And coaching
I
staff
actually,
has praised his ability there.
yeah, and I actually think the way he defends, which is very much like it's more hustle than like technique, isn't it? You know, like he's can sometimes be a little bit small. He's not great at getting through screens, but I do think this team thrives in the defensive style that he has, if that makes sense. Like I think they
Yeah.
play their best when they're flying around and when they're gambling for in passing lanes, when they're trying to make things happen defensively, and he's always trying to make things happen. And I think on their best defensive games, DiVincenzo's always a big part of that. Like I think of that Thunder game, the last Thunder game that they played, where DiVincenzo was just so good defensively in that game. But I think sometimes when the team is not in that mindset of flying around and diving for loose balls and playing in the passing lanes, he kind of gets lost in the sauce a little bit of trying to do it when no one else is doing it. But I think when they are at their best, which you would hope they would be in playoff series
Yep.
at their
That's what I was
most
going to say. Yep.
energetic, he fits into that kind of mold of defense really well. So I don't like that he's not, not that you didn't say this, but I don't think that when people say he's not a good defender, I think that kind of takes away from some of the team defense and the hustle plays that he does do, because he's not a great on-ball defender, but that doesn't mean that you are not a good defender.
Yeah. And he was, I think, when he was brought in and the takes were he was advertised as more of I think, better defender than we initially saw. So we were kind
Mm-hmm.
of thrown off by it. But I think this year he has just been better in that area. But Anthony Edwards, we'll move on to him, currently playing 35 and a half, but round up to 36 minutes per night. Playoffs, I mean, you're shooting for 40 plus here. Or am I wrong about that, right? I mean, it's your best player. It's a top 5 player in the league. We going 40
Yeah.
plus minutes in the play, like
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm just trying to get up. I feel like, I mean, that's the conventional wisdom, isn't it? And I feel like every time Ant has been in the playoff series, especially those early round playoff series, like you're getting 40 minutes. Like I'm just going back to, so last season against the Lakers in the first round, he played 41 minutes a game. Against the Warriors 39 and against OKC 37. So, and there was a few games that were blowouts in those two series, the second and third series. So, yeah, I think, the season before he was 41 against Dallas, he was 40 against
Yep.
Denver, 40 against Phoenix. So,
I
I
think
think
40 is just a good place to.
yeah, I think you're penciling him for 40. Some nights it might be 38, some nights it might be 42, but it's always going to be as many as he can possibly give.
Yeah, and he's had an excellent season. He's whenever they throw out these MVP ladder leaderboard things, he's like 8th or 9th. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, I mean, I think he should be fighting up there for top 3 to 5 right now. He's just been so
Yeah,
valuable, especially late in game. It just can't be overstated how elite he's been. There is maybe some regression coming for him right now in the last few clutch
which
games,
was
but just
always going to
yeah,
happen.
oh yeah, he was like shooting unbelievably great
Yeah,
numbers. I mean,
yeah.
just
Like it was
completely
best. It
unsustainable.
was best ever at one stage, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, maybe he will be best ever, but it was by a pretty sizable margin, so it was
Yeah.
expected. But overall, I've been extremely impressed with Anthony Edwards' just overall ability this season to continue improving in a way that is almost unbelievable for, I don't know, just the way he came into the league as this extremely raw prospect and to just develop this not only elite 3-point shot, now elite mid-range shot, elite clutch. I mean, he can get to the rim with the best of them. They put the stat on the just the broadcast the other day of like rim and mid-range compared to last year, and it's completely night and day. So the
hmm
improvements
It,
he's able
it,
to
it,
make is
it's built
just
for the play. It's like his game is
exactly.
being really built around playoff basketball by the season. It's the mid range stuff. You feel like that's going to have a big say whether it either goes in or doesn't go in. It's going to have a big say in his games this season. Like in his playoff run, because he said it before. He kind of developed that into his game specifically because OKC took away his 3-point shot and then obviously packed the paint as well. So um, I'm really excited to see what that mid range game, what it means in the playoffs. Is it going to be Is it going to take an even bigger step up? Is he going to be able to decipher when and when not to use it? Because that is a part of this as well. You don't want him to get too mid-range happy, but also, yeah, when OKC kind of, or when any team is packing the paint and they're jumping out with two players off a ball screen, is he able to just calm it down, get into the mid post, make those jumpers? Or especially lately, I feel like the last maybe 3 or 4 games, we've seen a lot more playmaking from the post as well. It's not like Jokic level
Sure.
playmaking from the post, but it's like as soon as the double comes, kick it straight out to the guy next to you. As soon as the double comes, someone will cut to the rim and he'll find them on the cut. So I want him to keep continuing to build that as well, because that will be a huge thing in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, he comes into the season, with these new abilities that he's had or that he's built in the offseason, but his ability to also implement these in, say, game 1 and then build them all the way through to game 82 in the playoffs to the point where he's doing what you just talked about. It's absurdly valuable, and it's just, he's impossible to guard when he's on or even remotely on. So
Yeah,
I don't have a ton to say. He's just like an elite top 5 player in the game.
yeah.
Not a ton of nuance.
Well, and there's not much you can say about Ant, is there? Like in terms of
we just
when you're
know
talking about
getting,
his,
man.
you can talk about his individual games. Why didn't he play better here? Or
Sure.
he was so good here. But when you're talking about him from this 54 games or something sample size, all you can say is that he's the straw that stirs the drink, and this team is really going to go as far as he takes them. And I think in the playoffs that we're talking about here, or in this run to the playoffs, he's obviously going to be the most important player.
Yeah, so we're going to put him at 40 minutes here. That gives us 68 of the 240 we're trying to build out, and totally happy with the first 2. We'll go on to Jaden McDaniels, who right now is playing 32 minutes per game. I think we're moving that up for the playoffs. He's not even like, I see him differently than I see Donte DiVincenzo, where it's maybe not matchup dependent, but like game dependent and flow dependent. I think Jaden's become one of those players where you're just playing him 36 minutes per night in the playoffs, barring foul trouble, pretty much like lock it in, guarding the best player, get him some more touches on the offensive end once in a while. And yeah, Jaden to me he had a really weird stretch around the trade deadline, but the last few games he seems to be just, I don't know if letting loose is the right word, but maybe just his mind is off of the deadline, which I think it was on for all of Julius, Naz, Jaden. And going forward, I expect Jaden to continue his really solid season that he's had so far. The 3-point shot, I'm anticipating still it to drop by a sizable amount.
It just keeps going in though.
44%. I know. I'm scared to be like, he's an elite 3-point shooter, because we haven't seen him shoot 45%. We saw him shoot 39, 40% a few years ago, and then it went down to 34. So
and the volume is never going to be high enough to.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he shoots 6 or 7 or 8% better than Donte, is that if he took 6 more threes a game, he'd probably shoot 36 or 37% as well. But
that'd be great. Yeah. Maybe 33.
He is in the same category for me as the Ant mid-range, where it's like, this is a new thing. Like, we know that Jaden has had really good playoff series before, but if this is like, okay, we get the good version of Jaden every night that we're getting at the moment, 15 points a game, that's different than what we've seen before. Just like Ant shooting 3 or 4 mid-ranges a game at an efficient clip is different than what we've seen before. So I think that Jaden is super important to being a different team, which they do need to be a different team. Like, they've had 2 good playoff runs in a row, but they haven't been good enough. And
they've just hit a wall, it's not even like they've been close in the conference fight. They've just slammed into a wall both times, pretty much.
And to me, it's always felt like a kind of, like a talent deficiency role. Like not talent as in this team, it doesn't have talent, but more in that they just hit a wall of, this team is better than them. They can do more things. They have more weapons. They have a better kind of more cemented scheme. That you can change that with a few different things being a lot better can change the shape of that. And one of them is Ant being able to score 6 points extra a night because he's in the mid range. He's at the free throw line more often. And maybe it's Jaden has a series where he's better than his 15 points. Like the Lakers series last season, he averaged 17.4 points a game. Like, if you get that for a whole playoff run, all of a sudden your team's looking really good. Jaden averaged 13 points on 44% shooting in that OKC series. Like, can you get 20% better than that, in terms of overall impact? That changes a lot. But yeah, in terms of minutes, he played 27 a game against OKC. I think there was obviously foul trouble there.
Yep.
The series before, he played 39 against Golden State,
Yeah.
and then 33 against the Lakers. So I think maybe somewhere at the high end
I think
of that,
36
like 30.
right now.
Yeah, I think 36 to 38, maybe. Like,
Okay.
let's
Well,
go
let's meet in the middle.
36. Yeah, let's go 37. Odd numbers make me a little bit, but
I do. I agree. Let's go 38. I'm not doing an odd number. We got to do two odd numbers.
I think if Finch can play Jaden 38 minutes, he will. It's only foul trouble that I think will stop him from, doing that. So,
yeah, I'm intrigued as we go along here. Like, it's going to be, because at the beginning of the season, I think we built out a 10-man rotation, so we were obviously giving these guys less minutes.
This isn't gonna be 10.
No, I mean, it's not even gonna be. It's gonna be 8, and like the 8th guy might be 15 minutes. So I'm intrigued.
But that's
to see
how
as
it
we
is.
keep
Yeah,
going.
and that's how it is in the playoffs.
For sure.
Like in the regular season, we've always wanted to see them expand the rotation out a little bit more, especially to 10 or at least a solid 9. But in the playoffs, this is how it works, and this team still isn't flush with depth, even if it's gotten better throughout the season. So,
look to the right of the screen, you'll see that depth really screaming at us. It's a
But this is the playoffs, and an 8-man rotation, even 7-man rotations are pretty common.
Yep, for sure. All right, moving on to guy number 4, then Julius Randle, who we have talked about a ton this season, and I was interested because he's fluctuated with our thoughts and just overall, I think how he's played. Right, it's like one game he's great, one game he's not so great. His mood's up, his mood's down. So I went to his basketball reference page and was like, all right, month by month, this guy probably fluctuates a ton, right? But no, I mean, if you go just like splits month by month, he's absurdly consistent, which is funny to me because that might be the opposite of kind of how I describe Julius Randle. But it's less about the numbers in the stat sheet for Julius and just more about the on-court eye test impact that he's making. Whereas like, say with Karl Anthony Towns, I'd check the same thing just to be like, all right, how common is this? And then it'd be like 17 points one month, 25 the next, 28, 19. It's like, all right, so players could fluctuate a lot, and Julius Randle is consistently just at similar numbers. But yeah, this year especially, and maybe over just the last 2 weeks, he's had a down stretch, an up stretch, and then trade deadline was weird, and then he had a really good game where he scored 40, and it's just he's interesting because I still am of a firm belief that he can't be your number 2 guy, like solidified number 2 on a championship level team. I mean, offensively maybe, but just overall. But then when I look at this team, I see Jaden McDaniels, I see Rudy Gobert having a season that I didn't expect him to have, kind of rising up. So I am confident, I guess, that it's Anthony Edwards 1, and then just a trio maybe of Jaden, Julius, and Rudy as the number 2 guy. Throw Naz in there. There's just a lot of the bulk under Anthony Edwards is led by Julius. But when he's not leading it and when he's more blending into it, I think this team is at their best. And yeah, even with his 40-point game the other day, I think he was able to blend well with the team and just be what the team needs. Does that rambling make sense, what I just threw out there?
No, it definitely does, because at the end of the day, he's just
lost myself,
he's just an enigma, isn't he? Like, you don't know what you're going to get from him in both the good and the bad ways. And even on his bad nights, he still does kind of get his numbers, I think, which is why I think his numbers in general from month to month aren't going to fluctuate too much. But when you watch the games, you can tell. Like, you know when you're having a good Randle night and when you're having a bad Randle night, even if it's not showing up in the box score. The way that Randle is a championship number 2 is if you get a long stretch of like the good Julius Randle, which doesn't seem impossible. I think during the season when you're watching him loaf for 3 weeks, like when you're watching the mood shift, the energy just be so low, it feels like there's just no way that this could happen, that he could ever be, a championship player. But then when you watch these last 2 games before the trade deadline, super quick, super decisive, super just in tune with what the team needs. And can you get that for 4 playoff series? I would still lean no because that's a long time. Like that is what, at least 20 games, probably more. And against the highest level of competition. But we saw 2 playoff rounds last season. I don't think it was. I mean, I think he quit on the team a little at the end of that OKC series, but I don't think he was like the reason they lost the series either. Like I don't think like he had a bad series, Ant had a
The
bad
whole yeah,
series,
it was just
Jaden had a bad
they just got
series.
dominated.
Like exactly. They ran into a buzzsaw that they were never going to beat.
Yep.
It would have taken Randall and Ant at their very, very best for every single game, and it probably still would have been 7.
Would have gone 7, and they probably would have lost.
Yeah. And that's so. I think, can you get this version? I love the way he played those. Even I think he only had 2 assists in that Portland game right before the break. But it's not, to me. It's not always about is Randall passing the ball, because he can get 7 or 8 assists on a game where he doesn't have the energy. Like I said, like to me, it's the way he's playing. Like every time he got the ball, he just went quick. And in that night, it was he needed to score, so he went quick to the rim. He got into a jump shot quickly. He ran a pick and roll. And the game before against Atlanta, it was he ran like 25 handoffs for the game. I hand tracked them, which is, I mean, I don't hand track all the handoffs that Randall runs, but that felt like more than he's ever done in a game. Like every time he got the ball, he didn't go into a post up. He would just run back out from the post and run a handoff with Ant or with DiVincenzo, or and like, so that's, I think that decisive version of Randall can be a playoff player, because you do get the isolation buckets, which are important in the playoffs. Like it's not going quick or going, running handoffs or passing the ball more. All of that are things that need to be incorporated into his game. But also there are times in the playoffs where you just need to say, Julius, we need a 15-second ISO here. Because like we just need a bucket. We don't want to turn the ball over. Like he needs to weave all of that, all of the good stuff into what I think we consider sometimes the bad stuff in his game. But that bad stuff is still valuable. And if you can give 23, 24 points a night in a playoff series, that's going to be really, really helpful no matter who it's against.
Yeah, if you can blend what the team needs and what Julius wants, and you just kind of mesh those two together and it works out, you're in a good spot. But right now this year, Julius is playing the second most minutes on the team. Makes sense. 34 minutes. Come playoff time, we got to pick a number here. Are we saying he's tied with Jaden? I almost say 36, but I mean,
so
Finch says 38. Finch says 40.
Like I've been doing with the last few. So he played 31 against OKC. I think the OKC, all of their numbers are a little bit skewed. The first 2 series, he played 37.8 and 37.4. So that's pretty consistent, and he was playing really good in those 2 series. So I think maybe 38 seems like, and he seems to be.
And we'll move these around afterward as need be to make it fit. But yeah,
like that's these are high minute loads, and that's what I expect.
Yep. All right, moving on.
This one's interesting.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Rudy Gobert. You want to just throw out the playoff numbers for Rudy right away, so I kind of have a baseline here. I'm intrigued by what he was at last year.
These are going to be very intriguing. I'm just finding them.
Oh crap! I should have talked for a while.
No, here we go. So last season, OKC 26 a game, Golden State 27 a game.
Interesting.
Lakers 29 a game. We go back to the season before though, where he was better as a player, which I think maybe closer to what he is this season.
Agreed.
Like he was at 34 against Dallas, 34 against Denver, 35 against Phoenix.
And when they played the Lakers and the Warriors last year, neither team really had a center of any, value. So they were playing smaller. So
and OKC, I think that was a really bad series for everyone.
The OKC, throw that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this year, I mean, I guess it depends. Is there a matchup that they would be in first round, say, where it would be like this team doesn't have a center he really matches up with? They're not going to play the Warriors first round, most likely. I don't really see them playing the Lakers first. Well, I mean, Ayton, I guess, is better than whatever they had last year.
Yeah, and they could end up in a 4-5 Lakers. Like that's definitely a possibility. The Lakers, he would play minutes because Ayton's there now. Yeah, like Houston, he would play minutes. You would assume
certainly.
Denver, obviously.
Yep.
The Spurs are a weird one because you'd think so, but both of the games that I think maybe all three of the games that they've played against the Spurs this season, he's been benched for a long time in the second half because he can't guard Wemby, not even a little bit. He could at the
Yeah.
start of Wemby's career. This season, Wemby has destroyed him all three times, and they've ended up going small with Randle or small with Naz, and trying to be either spread the floor, I think, is the main thing. It's not just that he can't guard Wemby, it's that allowing Wemby to stand in the paint defensively is death. Like, you need to get Wemby at least
True.
pretending to guard someone on the perimeter, and that because that opens up Ant to score, because Ant can't score on Wemby. If Wemby's at the rim, Ant can't score.
No one can.
Yeah, well, no human, living or dead, can. So I think the Spurs, he would be limited. I think the Thunder, he would be limited, not fully, but he just
It'd be
struggled.
similar to last year.
Yeah, I think so as well. Maybe high 20s.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at teams where you're going, okay, Gobert's going to play 35-minute allotment here. I think
it's for sure the Rockets and the Nuggets.
Yeah, the Rockets definitely, and the Nuggets. Yeah. So I think if you split the difference there, maybe you just go 30.
I agree.
He might, but we don't know who they're going to play. It might be high minute loads. It might be low.
Yeah, and 30.
And frankly, he needs to prove that he can play more minutes. Exactly. I don't. The way that he's talked about getting played off the floor in the playoffs is not the right way. But he was bad in all three series last season. He had a massive game against the Lakers. I think he had one good game against the Warriors as well. But
consistently quite bad last year. Yeah, I mean, it was just game after game.
Against the Lakers, he shot 57% from the field, which is just straight up not good enough for a guy who only shoots dunks and layups. And then he shot 52% from the field against OKC. If his offense can't hold up, they're just going to have to go small, because you can't have a guy on the court, no matter how good he is defensively, being a liability offensively while also making everyone else's life hard offensively.
Yep. And that's where the conversation that we've been having all year of maybe they should just try out this Baron J guy emerges a little, because but whatever, that's maybe next week we'll just really rant about that again. But anyways, I like Rudy at 30 here. We're sitting at 144 out of 240. Nope, 174. I knew I had to update that. All right, 174, and we got 3 guys left. All of them, I think, really intriguing. Naz Reed we'll start with from bench guys here, and I'm gonna throw it to you. What were Naz Reed's playoff minute load numbers last year? I'm intrigued because
I should have had that up already.
No,
yeah, and well, Naz is a weird one, because Naz hasn't been a playoff player either, has he? He's kind of been the opposite to Jaden, where he's been pretty consistent throughout seasons, and then found himself less consistent in playoff series. So last season, 24.4 against OKC, 26.4 against Golden State, 24 against the Lakers.
He's playing 26 right now this season.
Yeah, so I think in a perfect world where Naz is playing like Naz, you'd like to see those minutes higher than that, up towards the 28 to 30 range, I think, and really be flexible with that 3-man big man rotation. But Naz needs to be treated, I guess, with the same kind of gloves as Gobert, is that he hasn't been good enough. He shot, he's never averaged more than 12.6 points in a playoff series, and that was against Dallas 2 seasons ago. That's well under what we expect from Naz, which is 15 points every night. High shooting. He shoots 38% from 3 in the playoffs, so that's pretty, standard for him. But
it's kind of shocking that he shoots that well.
Yeah, and he fluctuates. He's had.
I feel like he's had really bad games.
Yeah, well, he's had OKC shot 22%.
Yep, okay.
But the season the Lakers series, he shot 50%. The Denver series a few seasons ago, he shot 32%. The Phoenix series, he shot 31%, but then he's had 44% series, 44 again. So I think that what that proves is that Naz still needs to do more than just shoot, because he's had great series shooting and still averaged, 10 points and 3 rebounds, which is not really what you expect from Naz. He's at 15 points and 6 rebounds a game this season.
That's what they're gonna need. Yep.
That is exactly. You need all of the weapons to be firing, just like you need the Jaden, Naz, and Rudy Gobert. You need all of them to be firing. 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 You need all of them The evolved version of Jaden. You need the Ant mid range. You need Naz Reed to be 15 points a night. Naz Reed. So I think maybe we just go like 26. Like that feels. That's what he
Yeah,
got. That's what he got in the playoffs the last few seasons. That's what he's playing during the regular season. I would
it's
hope
weird
that.
when we like when we like downgrade Rudy's minutes a touch and also don't put Nas up. But you're right. I mean, it's just we can't right now. I mean, maybe at the
Yeah,
end we'll put it up a little
and I
bit,
think
but yeah,
with McDaniels playing 5 or 6 minutes more than he plays in the regular
true. Good
season,
point.
you probably have lineups where he's playing the four a little bit more. But we're kind of going with Nas and Rudy on their past history, not on what we hope that they do. Like I think if these guys are playing at their best, I would hope Rudy's playing 34 minutes and Nas is playing like 30.
Yeah, for
But I
sure.
don't have that trust right now that they are going to earn that because they haven't so far.
Yeah, I mean, man, I mean Nas Reed, it's time to, get going here in the playoffs. It's just
Yeah, you
that
need to
next
have
thing to
one
click.
even if it's just one. Like I need one series where Nas averages like 18 a game.
He seems like he'd be the perfect type of just spark plug player for the
Yeah,
playoffs. And I mean, he's young. Like I feel like he's obviously got time before he's labeled a playoff dropper or whatever, but I feel like he will have a good season this year just based on how he's been playing lately. And I think his role, or at least
hmm
his stature among the team, continuing to be increased. And there's not really, I think last year in the playoffs, we weren't doing this podcast, but we were still, at least I was thinking maybe contracts coming up, big extension, trying to prove himself. And it's just
hmm
that pressure's off now. Let's just see what you can do. So excited to
and
see
maybe
what he's got.
yeah, and maybe he is just going to remain a player who has moments in playoff
Sure.
games because I think he has been that. Like I remember last season, one of the latest games, he came in and hit multiple threes late in the fourth quarter. Obviously, that Denver game 7, he's huge in the fourth quarter of that game. He has that putback. He makes a three. I think he obviously gets the steal. Um, does he get a steal? No, I don't know. He's
He
involved in that
passed it
one.
to Anthony Edwards on the
Yeah,
fast
he's
break.
involved. Yeah, so like, is he just that player? Because what he has been hasn't been like a negative. He's averaged like 10 points
Yeah, they just
and
have
five
needed
rebounds.
more from him because they haven't, had much besides. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't want to say like Julius Randle wasn't good. It's just weird. Like the two series they've lost, they've just needed a guy like Nas to really be on fire, I suppose. So,
yeah, exactly. And he's played 36 playoff games now, so I think we can
dang,
expect. Yeah, it's crazy. I
wow,
think we can expect him to be Naz Reed. Well, I think we can take the training wheels off a little bit because
agreed.
I think everyone will be pretty disappointed if there is multiple series because players can have a bad series. Like if it's a 5 game series, Naz Reed can average 10 points and 4 rebounds, and it can be okay. But when you're building out like a 15 to 20 game sample size within one playoff run, you need to have at least 5 or 6 games there that are like actual big 22 points and 8 rebounds Naz Reed games.
Yeah, and I do think we'll see it. I mean, I think we'll see more of it. He's a guy that can definitely just have a really bad game once in a while, and obviously in the limited series that the playoffs are, that is amplified, but I expect this year to just be better overall. But the next player we're going to talk about is someone I think can hopefully be more of a model of consistency come playoff time. We also don't know. You can tell me this in a second, but I don't think he's really played a full playoff series before.
I
Anyways,
think he might have played one.
was it like an 8 versus a 1 seed? I mean, but Dosunmu right now is playing 28 minutes per game, and we've got 40 minutes to work with here, so I'm interested on what we do here. But overall, I've loved what we've seen from him so far, the quickness, the energy. He's been, I think, a plus 11 and a plus 7 in the two games. We're not counting the first one where he was a minus 33 with the rest of the team. Doesn't matter. Get rid of it. But no, overall, Desumu's been a extremely high breath of fresh air. And last week when we talked, we put a lot on this guy's shoulders as the Wolves were coming off a really low energy, disappointing performance. And we just kind of said, this is the type of guy that you trade for him, you give up a pretty hefty price, all things considered, what went into Rob
hmm
Dillingham to go get this guy. And he's got to just be that spark plug energy, bucket getter, just playmaker, defensive, Nikhil type of guy on that
Yeah.
end. And I mean, he's everything that's been advertised, in my opinion, through the very small sample size we have of him so far. And he's, not even comfortable yet, I would assume. He's still learning how
Hmm.
to play with these guys. A lot of the players on this team are not exactly guys that you really play with elsewhere, or like archetypes you get, like Rudy and Julius per se. So it's maybe weird coming into this type of team, and I mean, he's fit right in. I know people have
Yeah.
mentioned it before, but his ability to play with Rudy Gobert, I mean, it took D'Lo. He's still trying to learn how to play with Rudy Gobert, actually. So, it takes some of these point guard type guys a while to learn how to play with a guy like Rudy Gobert. And so, really impressed. He seems like someone who knows his role is to be that bench spark plug and maybe takes pride in that. So, intrigued to see where we go from here with Ayo. And for the minutes, I mean, 25 minimum, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that he's definitely one of those guys where he's in that DiVincenzo category again, that he could give you 33 if he's having a really good game. If transition is a
Sure.
really big
Yeah.
part of a game, or if he's making his threes, if he's a little bit more safe with the ball than DiVincenzo is, say, against a team that wants to pressure a bit more on ball. But he could also give you 22 if the threes aren't dropping, or if it's a slower paced game, if you need more shooting, high volume shooting in the half court like DiVincenzo gives you. So I think 25 feels, especially for a coach that I think Finch really trusts Dosunmu, but I think when it gets into the playoff series, he hasn't been to war with him before, where he's been
Right.
to war with all of these other guys before. So I think maybe you're starting at 25, and it might be more of a 33 one game, 19 another game.
I like that. All right. Yeah. And do you have these stats on if he's played in other
He has
playoff
played
series before?
5 playoff games before in
Okay. And those
21
aren't play
22.
in, are they? They're all playoff.
No, they're all
Okay.
playoffs. They were against the Bucks in 21-22. They lost 4-1.
Yeah.
He averaged 17 minutes a game. So pretty, I think you can throw most of that out in terms of what we're
Gotcha.
going to get from him.
Yeah. I mean, he's an inexperienced big game player. So,
Exactly. And that can go either way. Like he might
yep, for
be
sure.
really ready for the big moment. It might be game one of series one and he scores 19 points. And you think, okay, and DiVincenzo scores 4 and shoots, one of 7 from 3. And you might think, all right, well, this could go either way for these two guys. But I think those two they can play together, but I think they'll be competing for minutes in that, I guess, like off guard role. Like there's 48 minutes there. What have we got between them? I can't do maths. 40 something. So
Sure. But man, I mean, it's weird that Naz Reed has played 31 more playoff games than Ayo Dosunmu. I mean,
yeah,
that's
the
crazy.
Wolves have played a lot of,
I know.
you know,
It's
how
it
many?
just the
I'm
amount
going to
of games
detour
that
for
add
one
up in
second.
a single year is like it doesn't really it
Yeah,
doesn't hit me till you throw out a stat like that, I guess. So it's like they played 3 series, but also like 17 games.
yeah. Even last season was 3 5 game series. They were all
Yeah.
pretty short series, and that's still 15 games. 15
Ugh,
playoff games. That's
weird.
3 times the amount that Dosunmu has played in his entire career.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
who
wild.
who do you think? I don't have a lot of time to detour here, but I'm going for a second. How many players on this team or in this kind of recent era of Wolves basketball get their jersey retired?
Going back, let's just say going back to when Chris
Let's say the
Finch was
start of
hired.
Finch's. Yeah, yeah,
There you go. All right. Cat for sure. I know people want to
yep.
argue with that because you give it a bit of
He's getting
he's
his
getting his
jersey
jersey
retired.
like
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Cat. I mean Ant obviously when it's all said and done. Do you want me to say like do you want me to predict when it's all said and done or do you want me to just go off
Yeah, I
of
think
like
because right
okay
now we don't. I think right now it's
it's
probably
just
only
Carl
Cat. Like if
unless you want to
Ant
get
left
Ricky
up,
in there.
yeah, if Ant left after this season, I don't think he would probably
Okay,
get
well,
his jersey.
fair,
Like it's not going to happen. But like
right.
I think that if you go right now, but I think you can say Ant, Cat,
Rudy, dude. I mean,
Jaden,
shoot,
Rudy, Nas. Like how
they
many?
got to. I
Especially,
think you got to win a chip with Rudy for him to get his jersey retired since they traded
yeah,
for him.
I think Jaden and Nas are probably in that same category that you need to win a championship because unless they stay for a really long time, which is
Yep. I
a
think they either
possibility.
like hit a decade here, and it's like the trio of Ant, Nas, Jaden is like the trio in a year or two,
Hmm.
and then they all just kind of get it, or they just win a championship. And it's like, all right,
Yeah,
retire,
you can
retire
retire
Joe
everyone.
Ingles
Yeah,
jersey, like whatever.
yeah. Mike Conley, you're going in the rafters,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
Okay, that was a
But yeah,
detour.
I
So we've got
mean,
one
I
more
think
player here.
the wild card. I know. I just sorry to
No,
cut you off, but
go.
man, I was gonna say Randall, but I
Well,
don't think
Randall
so.
is the same
You
thing. I
got to
think
win a chip this year, or
if you won a
because I think
chip,
he's yeah,
yeah, if
yeah,
you won a chip and he was one of the best players on that chip, then they wouldn't trade him because that's
right,
the
exactly.
domino effect is that if
Because my
he won
thing
it, if
is he's
they
getting traded this offseason unless they win a
yeah,
championship,
but if
I
they won
guess.
the
But
championship, then he's not getting traded,
yeah,
and he's probably going to end up with like 6 or 7 years with the team,
yep,
and a championship, and that's I'd be happy to put his name up in the lights after that.
absolutely. I would have no complaints. I mean, I'm not going to win a championship and go, God, I got to retire Julius's jersey. But no, this brings us to Bones. Unless you want, I mean, it's either Bones, unless you want to argue for someone else to get the last 15
No, I
or
think it's Bones, but I don't think he should. I don't think he's taking all of these 15 minutes, to be honest. And
really.
I like Bones.
Okay.
I mean, just to go through it, he's played 13 playoff
Well,
games.
okay,
He's
let
on.
me ask you this. Would you give Bones 15 or would you give Bones, say, 10 and then spread the last five
I
on the
think,
guys we
yeah, I
have?
think, I think he's going to get the Chris Finch, rookie treatment in the playoffs, which is you get one stint. If it's a good stint, you get another one. If it's
Gotcha.
not, you don't. So I think maybe you average that out to like 10,
Yeah,
because I think he's good enough to where he will get second stints. He again is the type of player who will really help you in a playoff series or really hurt you. I think like if the shot's there, if the pace is there, if the ball movement's there, you can have a Bones Highland game that is a Bones Highland game. The podium game for Bones. You also might just get game one of the playoffs. He gets hunted down so badly by Luka or by KD in his minutes that he's unplayable because he is not a good defender and he tries really hard.
yeah.
But he's the exact type of player who teams will play off the court defensively in a playoff series, especially star level guys. So 10 feels about right to me, where you might get 6 in the first half and not see him again, or you might get 8 in the first half because it's
18
good.
total. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and 18 total. So, but then you've got 5 minutes. I think maybe you should just give Naz 3 and give
I was kind
Rudy
of thinking
2.
you give Nas a couple, you give Io. I think Io gets more than
Yeah,
25
okay,
when it's
yeah.
all said and done. So
Yeah,
we'll
well,
give
let's go.
him
Let's go.
27,
Yeah, 27, and Nas can
Nas
have.
28, and Ant one more. How's that? 41. I think Ant. I think you
Yeah,
just push
and you can
Ant.
have 41.
And you're getting, we need you to just go win us a game. All right, you're getting
Now
41
the question
minutes.
is, what does that? Now you're looking at that. Say this is what you're seeing every night. In the playoffs, how do you feel about that?
I don't think I mean, it's weird because right now I have no idea how, say, Bones and Io are going to finish this season, and they're the two maybe biggest wild cards on here. I think
Yeah,
Io is going to continue
we're
to be
giving
really
Ayo
good.
a lot of minutes for a guy
Yeah,
who's
yeah, yeah.
played 3
That's the
games.
thing. He's never been on this, good of a team before. He's always been on the Bulls, and he's always played a lot of, or at least the last couple of years, he's always played a lot of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But is he able to sustain that on a legitimately good team? Because I think that does matter. It's not just plug and play. The pressure mounts, and what does he look like under that spotlight? But the rest of it, I mean, it's hard to complain about really anything else we put down here. So sorry, comments. You can't even really leave one. We didn't do anything wrong. We got it all right. I mean, it's no, but I
Yeah,
think
the
it looks
Ayo
pretty
stuff.
good.
I'm just really intrigued about it because we've also seen him be on the ball a lot less. I think, which makes sense than compared to Chicago. Obviously, there's more talented players here, and there's more guys who need the ball more often. But there's been a lot of, if it's not in transition, if it's not, sometimes we have seen him run the odd pick and roll here and there, but it's been a lot of just standing in the corner, which I don't think is like me complaining about him standing in the corner, but on the games where his shot either isn't dropping, like how much can he continue to add in value wise, especially offensively? If he's not a little bit more on the ball, I still think he's been kind of miscast as like a shooter just in our minds. Like he was an on-ball player in Chicago. He wasn't
Yeah,
Josh Giddey, but he was on the ball a lot. He ran a lot of pick and roll.
yeah, for sure.
He shot the ball a lot off pick and roll in terms of getting to the rim. So like how much can he maintain his value offensively without being on the ball? I don't think we've seen his shot like really at this 45% level that it was at coming out of Chicago, but he's obviously making threes. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I'm
like
just
Jaden, where it's like, oh, this might really hit a weird cliff
yeah,
soon.
yeah. So I'm just wondering in the playoffs, like, or ramping up to the playoffs as well, do they start drip feeding him a little bit more of that? Because that would make him more valuable. If you are in the camp of he should start over Donte, that is the thing that needs to happen more. He needs to be able to pretty much play point guard, because that's what Donte can't really do. So,
Yeah.
If we get the next 20 games and all of a sudden Dosunmu is running a lot of pick and roll, making plays for Rudy like we've seen in that Portland game, getting to the rim and finishing really strong there, that could change my opinion on him in terms of maybe I want him to play 32 minutes in a playoff series and Donte plays 25, But we need to see that because it could go the other way where the shot falls off, He shoots 25% for the rest of the season. All of a sudden, you're like, maybe Dosunmu's like an 18-minute guy in the playoffs. So that's probably the most interesting thing to me that we're looking at for the rest of this season.
Yeah. All right. We're going to begin wrapping it up here. Couple things before we go for you. Of the four we didn't touch, Jalen Clark, Terrence Shannon Jr., Mike Conley, Johan Barron, Jay. You're Chris Finch right now. Which of those four are you inserting into the rotation? You're Chris Finch. You're not Jake Painting.
If I'm Chris Finch, it's Mike Conley, isn't it? The shit is going to get real toxic online if Conley comes back after the All-Star break and plays 14 minutes a game.
Hey, he's a part of all of the best Wolves, best like 5-man offensive groups or whatever.
You stay out of this, Finch.
He's taking over like a symbiote. All right.
But if it's me, I think I would still like to see maybe TJ.
We just got to see him, man. I mean, I can't even give an opinion on him right now. He was just so terrible to start the year, and then he's been hurt. So maybe we'll update this if he's like really good again. I just have trouble seeing it this year.
I think they're clearly trying to play 9 still. Like even in these games, Jalen Clark has played in all of these games. So
I'm sorry to preemptively take Jalen out. Everyone, it's just ratings on the wall.
He probably deserves a mention. But I think when TJ comes back, they're gonna give TJ those Clark minutes, and I hope it goes well. Because that would be an extra dynamic that you could add. Maybe if Bones is getting targeted in a playoff series, can you throw TJ out there instead? Clark is in that same boat where maybe he just needs to give you 5 minutes in a playoff game that he can just pitbull someone. So I don't see any need for Conley in the playoff series. I don't think Baron J is ready for like high intensity playoff series. I think the regular season was the time to get him his minutes. I think it's kind of Clark or TJ in my mind, but it's going to be Conley.
You're right. And then last thing for you. The 3-point contest just ended. Let's see how many guesses it takes you to guess the winner.
Oh, I have no idea. Is it Bobby Portis?
No.
Damn. Is it Norm Powell?
No.
Is it Donovan Mitchell?
No.
Who is it?
No, you got. Oh man, you're gonna be like, damn, I should have guessed this.
Is it Concha Nipple?
No, sorry. It is Mr. Injury.
No, it's not.
Damian Lillard just won the 3-point contest, dude. I just checked the scores.
I'd be like, bruh. If I'm Portland, I'm like, bruh. We're under 500 here. You telling me you can't stand in the corner and make threes?
Oh man, that's awesome.
That's cool though. That's cool. I love that.
Yeah. I just checked Twitter to see who it was, and Damian Lillard's holding up the trophy. So,
that is crazy.
How about that? He beat Booker. So you didn't guess either of the finalists. So congrats.
No, I didn't. No.
Anyways, Portis I think got like 9 points, whatever that's worth.
Yeah,
so
unsurprising.
He sucked, and that's all I've got for you today. Dunk contest coming up. Let's just our two faces as we say goodbye. You got any parting words for us, Jake, before we go?
No, I don't.
Nice.
I don't know wisdom. Yeah.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Peace.